Which is more profitable, organic or conventional farming? Today we're going to look at the profit per acre for organic versus conventional farms. In 2021, the USDA released a report that revealed some interesting data. The report was based on surveys sent out to farmers in 2017 and 2018. One of the questions they asked was, how much profit does your farm generate per acre? I thought this would be easy to answer. I typed organic farming profitability and got several articles with headlines like these, but I soon realized that these articles were not very helpful because they did not consider one important factor: how much it costs to get certified as an organic farm. If I'm a farmer thinking about converting my farm to organic, what does the math look like? What would my profit be per acre? And are U.S. consumers really paying extra for organic products? Let's do the math. We'll compare the cost of certification of facilities, output, selling price, and ultimately profit. Stick around. But first, if you're new here, welcome. I'm a California-based agricultural economist, and this is where you get the insights you need to make better decisions in your farm business and in life. Give us a like and stay tuned for new videos each week. Now let's talk about our hypothetical farm. It will be a dairy farm that also grows feed for their cows. They grow corn and alfalfa. Their dairy operation consists of 1,000 milking cows, and their average milk price is $25 per hundredweight. That's a standard industry practice that goes back decades. It's been the norm. So when I see those YouTube videos with dairy farmers talking about how they queue and survive on $16 or $18 per hundredweight, that's not accurate. The national average has always been around $25 per hundredweight. Their annual milk output is 22 pounds per cow per day, which is pretty good. That's equivalent to 24,000 pounds of milk per cow per year. They sell all of their milk to a local cheese factory that pays them $25 per hundredweight. Now that's important because that's going to drive their revenue and their profit. On their 200 acres of corn, they harvest 170 bushels per acre, and they receive $5.50 per bushel. On their 100 acres of alfalfa, they harvest 5 tons per acre, and they receive $175 per ton. This is just a simple model. These prices are not accounting for inflation or changes over time. The average size of a dairy farm in the U.S. is 1,300 cows. So this farm is right smack in the middle. In fact, the farm that I grew up on had 1,000 cows, and they also grew all of their own feed on their own land. Let's start by calculating the revenue for our hypothetical farm. So on their 1,000 milking cows, they're going to gross $2 million in revenue. So what are the expenses for a farm like this? Well, labor is going to be a major expense. And according to the USDA, the average full-time employee on a dairy farm earns $29,000 per year. Most of the work on this farm is done by the owners. However, they still have to pay a few employees to help with the daily chores. Let's say they pay 3 people full-time, so that's going to be $87,000 in labor costs. On the crop side, they're using equipment to plant, cultivate, and harvest their crops. But since they're harvesting both corn and alfalfa, they don't need to own all of that equipment. Some of the equipment they may own outright, and other equipment they might custom hire. Let's say that they own their planter and their irrigator, but they custom hire a swather and a tractor with a grain auger to harvest the crops. For this scenario, let's estimate their total equipment costs at $40,000 per year. All farms purchase supplies such as fertilizer, herbicides, insecticides, and other miscellaneous items that they use on their crops and their animals. For this scenario, let's put their supplies at $100,000. Now, once this farm gets certified as an organic farm, there are certain things that they can no longer use, such as herbicides. That means they're going to have to do more weed control manually. This could increase their labor costs. Another thing that they may need to buy is manure management equipment. Manure management is a lot more complicated on an organic dairy than on a conventional dairy. This equipment could include a manure pump, storage, and piping. Let's estimate the additional cost of owning and operating this equipment at $10,000 per year. Other costs that go into running this farm are interest payments on any debt, property taxes, insurance, and utilities. Let's estimate these costs at $80,000 per year. Now, for the fun part, let's calculate the profit for this farm. After subtracting their expenses from their revenue, their profit before owner's draw is $1.3 million. Now, this number doesn't account for any money that the owners take out of the business to pay themselves. So to account for this, we'll subtract another $100,000, leaving them with a net profit of $1.2 million. This farm needs to be certified as organic. Now we can calculate their new profit after becoming organic. We'll subtract the conversion cost and the certification cost from their profit. Then we'll divide that by the total acres to get our profit per acre. In this example, the profit per acre is $4,433. What about conventional farming? Is it more profitable? Well, let's calculate the profit per acre for a conventional farm. Their profit before owner's draw is $1.3 million, and their total acres are 300. So their profit per acre is $4,333. In this example, conventional farming is slightly more profitable than organic farming. What does the data say? In 2017, the average profit per acre for organic farms was $3,763, and for conventional farms, it was $3,154. The biggest difference was in the crops with organic farms making $7,412 per acre, while conventional farms made $3,154 per acre. So how does this work out for the consumer? Does it cost more to buy organic products? Well, when we compare the selling prices between organic and conventional products, it seems that consumers are paying more for organic products. But how much more? Well, it depends on the product and how much more is being paid. It seems like a lot of consumers think that all organic products cost a lot more. But in reality, that's only true for certain products. Take beef, for instance. At my local grocery store, I found 2 different organic ground beef options. One was 80/20 ground beef at $9.99 per pound, and another package of 93% lean ground beef at $11.79 per pound. Neither of these packages were labeled as USDA organic, but they were most likely organic. Why? Because Oregon is a state with a very low number of conventional farms. Most of the meat that's sold in Oregon is most likely organic. The same is true for produce. If you walk through your local grocery store and pick up an apple or a head of lettuce and look at the label, chances are it's going to say something like grown in California's Central Valley. There are very few conventional farms in California, so most of the apples and lettuce are organic. However, when we shift to commodities such as milk, the price difference between organic and conventional is much greater. The average price for organic milk in 2021 was $3.72 per gallon. That's compared to $3.15 for conventional milk. That's a 57-cent price difference per gallon. So the question I want to leave you with today is this: should you convert your farm to organic production? As we saw, the profit per acre for organic is higher than for conventional, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's better for all farms. A lot of it depends on the individual farm. For instance, organic is a great option for farms with high land costs. In regions like California, land is extremely expensive, and when you combine that with low commodity prices, organic can be very profitable. On the flip side, if you're a wheat farmer in Kansas, organic probably isn't an option for you, because wheat is a commodity, and commodities are usually priced very low. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.